Hello, hello, and welcome back to Password. Still hanging out with Haas. I think we're going to lunch. It's going to be fun. We doubled back to the dining room and got something to eat. Funnily, we didn't run into anyone else on our way out, but I could hear them about the house. Orlando wailing about something upstairs, Tyson yelling about something stupid. It wasn't danger yelling, but little things like vague frustration. I knew they were okay, and Haas seemed to feel the same way. Uh, feel the same from how he paid it no mind. That said, having already found one medal, he ended up dragging me downstairs to the gym and forcing me to at least walk on the treadmill next to him. I don't know how long we were at it, but I felt tired. Tired enough that um, out earlier that our earlier discovery almost went forgotten. After a quick shower, I met back up with Haas, and the two of us set out for the dining room, dinner time having crept up on us. Okay. Ah.
I know the password to the thing inside the vault. There's a container, a containment vessel holding what we spoke about, but that's not tied to the vault's mechanism. Unless I told you, you'd struggle to get past the security on that thing.
Okay, so having that different conversation with Oswin before does change a lot of, like, little bits of dialogue. But with the phone still not working, I guess calling her or snapping a picture is going to be impossible. Still, we're one step closer now.
Oh?
Yeah, Haas and I found a medal in the library. Libra. Oswin grunted, looking sour.
Of course Libra was in the library.
You don't sound happy about that.
You two decided to search there. Let alone find one in a room that's so large.
Was it unlikely we were going to find one there? I don't understand what the big deal is.
More of a bother. Getting the whole set is going to be a lot harder than what I thought.
But if we can't find them all, how are we going to open the vault, worst case scenario?
Well, I figure something out. I'm sure. I have my ways.
I look over to Oswin, who still seemed, lost in thought, figuring it was best to leave him be. Oh well, I guess I'll head off to bed then, and, thanks.
You're very welcome, Dave. Good night.
Oh, okay. It wasn't until after I was on my bed again that I realized I'd only just had one before dinner. But I liked the smelling clean. I liked the water. All of that was missing was some nice smelling stuff like what Haas had. Sure, I had nice smelling soap, but that was mostly just because I liked the scent. It didn't really linger all that long after my shower. I wanted something for after. Tugging a little at my fur on my cheeks, I wondered if I should trim some of the excess, but I'd let it get a little out of control. So maybe that was something else Haas could help me with. I didn't really consider self-care to be so important, but I was at least starting to understand how important it was just from hanging out with him. I didn't have anyone to look nice for, so I never thought about it. But now maybe I wanted to try a little harder. I got up and turned off the light and put myself to bed. There I could hear the other things going on in the house. I could hear Dean and Sal wandering about, just from how heavy their footsteps were. I could hear Tyson groaning over something I assumed Haas had said. Sure enough, they moved on, and I was left with some quiet. It was nice, if a little lonely, and I found myself thinking about spending more time with Haas tomorrow. If I was lucky, maybe we could hang out, maybe find another medal, but before I could think on it too hard, I found myself drifting off to sleep. Okay, so day 17 is the werewolf day, right? I wonder how different this is. Yeah, Thanatos! Okay, but Thanatos is like the second best character behind Tyson. He's like, I love day 17. Like, it's so much fun. And he's just a fun... We'll start with Orlando. Orlando, he's probably freaking out, so it'd be better to make sure he's not doing that first. Oh, okay, so... Wow, okay, this is... Day 17 is like the same in every route, isn't it? Orlando said it. There we go. Oh, okay.
Let's see. Rocked up in civvies. Walked to talk to Oswin. Looked pretty grim if you ask me.
What a cutie. Oh, right, this conversation. Yeah. Oh, I don't remember that scene. Hollywood, this was Tyson. Oh no, someone's gonna yell at me for simping in the comments. I know it. Oh, this was day 18. Okay, yeah, it's the he's messing with yeah. Given how things have been lately, I've been getting what sleep I can.
I've been awake for a while.
Oh, okay. We can. By the time the three of them emerged from the kitchen, it was almost like it was the first day we arrived. Tyson was up near the end of the table, and the rest of us were tiredly eating breakfast with just as tired smiles on their faces. Haas, I could barely even see on the other side of Dean, but he seemed distracted by something. Maybe something happened in the kitchen, because not once did he look up from his food, and then his tea afterwards. Haas? I called out to him into the openness of the house. Looking around, it hadn't been that long after breakfast, so he couldn't have gotten far, but with no one else around, it appeared that people moved faster than I gave them credit for. As I was heading from the stairs to go looking, a hand suddenly snatched me by the scruff and pulled me back. Whoa! Oh, Ty! You don't need to be so rough. Please be more rough.
You looking for Haas?
I was, yeah. But how are you doing?
I don't want to be fucking alone for starters. I want to be fucking alone for starters.
You're the one that grabbed me.
Yeah, well, Haas went outside.
He let me go and went to push past me up the stairs before I stopped him with a hand on his chest. Ty, are you okay?
Fucking great. Now fuck off outside before Haas wanders somewhere else again.
He continued upstairs with his hands in his pockets, making me worry. It was one thing for Tyson to be cranky, but this was worse than I'd ever seen him. My mind flashed to what I knew was coming up. How he and Orlando were both in danger, and I got the feeling it was going to be coming up quicker than I expected it to be. But it was something I had to deal with later. Right now, I was more worried about something else. I stepped out into the fresh air and tensed up. Just being out here was still worrying me, but it didn't seem like Haas was anywhere out here, despite what Tyson had said. Over by the greenhouse, I could see Dean moving things around, but he didn't seem to notice me before he headed inside. I was about to go and ask if he'd seen Haas when I caught a whiff of lime and coconut on the air. Following my nose, I turned towards the pool and saw just enough of him to know where where to head, and I wandered inside. Haas, are you okay? He looked up as I closed the gate behind me and watched as I came to stand next to him. He was sitting on the edge of the pool, feet dangling in the water, with a confused expression. Yeah? Why? You just seemed off at breakfast is all. And, well, I wanted to talk about stuff, but now I'm not so sure. He sighed as I sat down next to him. I'm glad I went without footwear and put my feet into the water next to him. It's all right. You can talk to me about stuff. But what's on your mind, though? Nothing important. His expression lasted for all of a couple seconds before it faded back to what it was when I arrived. At least, that's what I'd normally say, but everything going on has me worried. Scared, even. You too? Yeah. The past few days really got me thinking about things like when we're leaving, if we get to, you know. It's the same for me, really. And just worrying about everything that's going to happen just makes me freeze up sometimes. In the sense that I can't stop thinking about the stuff I don't know about, and then worrying about how much I'm devoting to it. I know that feeling all too well. Although you're doing better than being out here now. I am? Come on. A couple of days ago, you didn't even want to go near the back door, and now you're out here in the pool with me. I just wanted to talk is all. Bad enough to face your fear and come out to the pool completely unarmed? Not that I knew at the time, but you did the same thing. You've got me there. I don't think I'm going to need a weapon, though. We have enough space to hide should we need it. Right. I looked down into the water, seeing my blurry reflection staring back at me. So, what do you want to talk about? I feel bad wanting to talk about it now. Are you sure you're up to talking at all? Dave, if I didn't want to talk about things, I wouldn't have offered. Now, what's on your mind? For the most part, it's the same stuff. When we're going home, if we can, how much danger we're in, but it's other things too. Haas, am I a burden? What? Where's this coming from? I just wanted to check. I know it's not easy trying to get me to talk about things, but it's been getting easier. I guess specifically, not talking about things is easier because it doesn't make people worry. It's the opposite, actually. With how much I've been doing it, yeah. Because that was like the easy thing to do, the polite thing. Ah, yeah, I get that. That's part of what's bothering me as well. In what way? Well, I keep thinking back to my brother and sister, right? You miss them? Yeah, but not just that. I keep thinking if I'll ever get to see them in person again. But also how how they'd feel if I actually told them about liking guys. Would they care? I care, Dave. Those kids mean the world to me. But if they're family, wouldn't they continue to love you regardless? Honestly, talking to Tyson about his home life had been enough. It hadn't been a lot, but it's for sure been enough. Yeah, his family life, it's not great. But he's got me. He had Dad too, but I chuckle, but it quickly devolves into a whine. That's why I'm scared of letting them down, Dave. Those two are like what Tyson is to you, if that makes sense. But they're already your siblings, right? Haas pulled a face before shuffling around in his pocket before pulling out his wallet. Then, from within, a photo. Kind of. Here. Oh, they're tigers! Oh, that's super cute. And Haas is cute in this. What is this little mouth face? He's so cute.
That's them. On the left, Ayano. And Kai's on the right.
They're both tigers. You're a lion.
Right. Mom couldn't have had any more kids after me, so they adopted. I remember all of the talks about all the talks and excitement Mom had adopted 2 babies from Japan, but...
Is that why you like anime so much?
I think I was more excited because I liked anime about them being Japanese, but to me they're just my brother and sister.
He put the picture back into his wallet and fell onto his back, stretching out.
I say just, but I'd do anything for those guys. I can't imagine what it'd be like to just not have your parents around anymore.
Not have your parents want you anymore. Oh, okay. Are you sure that's what happened? Maybe it was less severe than that, and they just couldn't take care of because of money or something happening to their parents.
I don't know, but I just don't like the idea that your family just up and abandons you. Well, blood family anyway.
I think I understand.
You should, given Tyson.
I guess you're right. I don't know what he has, but, and hasn't told you, but yeah, I think, what you feel about your brother and sister is what I feel towards Tyson, maybe. And just that I'd, do anything for him if he asked.
Trust me, I've heard the stories.
What stories?
Big Dog has told me stuff about what it's like, basically living with you. What you're like, or we're like anyway. Plus the ones from Roswell and Orlando, about who he was before all of that.
And what did you think? Was it good or bad?
Well, you were already making excuses for him earlier in our stay here, even inviting him along without asking any of us.
Like you said, he's my brother, sort of. It didn't feel right leaving him behind.
Imagine leaving him behind and then finding yourself stranded on this mountain now. That's kind of where I'm at with Ayano.
And Kai. Will I get to see them again? Even just tell them that I love them one more time? I hope so.
Me too.
I turned to look at the water and whined quietly to myself. The reflection looking back at me, reminding me of Dad and in turn Mom. The idea that I might not see Mom again worried me, even if what words even shared were few and far between. Then I thought about the things left unsaid to Tyson. If he'd been left at home, and that rattled me. Looking at Haas, I could only imagine just how bad it was given his family was on the other side of the country. Is there anything I can do to help?
I don't know. I don't think there's much anyone can do right now, unless you can magically get us off this mountain.
Right. I'm sorry I can't offer much else, Haas.
You think the worst thing, though, Dave.
What?
I've actually considered looking into how you saw me die again. Maybe Roswell was rubbing off on me.
You want to look into it? Why?
Well, someone wanted me dead, right?
Given what happened yesterday, that might not be such a bad idea.
What happened yesterday? Orlando and Tyson arguing, flowing into this morning.
Not just that. I got the Volt to work again, too. Haas breathed in and sighed, visibly unsure of what to ask. You wouldn't happen to know when the full moon happens is, would you?
Tomorrow. I'm guessing that's a clue to what's going on.
Yeah, I saw Tyson looking wild and killing Orlando, or had just killed Orlando anyway. That made Tyson sit up. That made Haas, it's okay, looking me over quickly.
You're sure? That's what you saw?
Not going to ask if it's true?
We're long past that, Dave. If you were lying, you'd pick something else other than your brother murdering your best friend after what we just talked about.
Right, well, yeah.
So, aside from the full moon, what do we have to go off of?
That's basically it, really. That and that Orlando is the victim.
Okay, well, if we're looking into why all of this is happening, should we start with what you what you saw with me and go from there?
You seem to want to look into it, so it works for me.
Might give us a chance to think about how to approach Tyson about things. He's already on edge, so that might have to be a job for you.
Why me? I thought you two were close now.
And don't you remember what you originally thought about who could have killed me? As much as he's my friend, I'm not about to go poking the guy when you think he's about to off Orlando, as it is.
Right, okay. Haas stood up and shook off his feet before offering a hand out to me.
Come on, Dave.
I took his hand, mimicking how he shook the water off his legs. So, where did you want to go? The basement?
It's, I'd say that's the safest place to start, don't you?
I don't think I'd know where else to look. You were here by the pool that day, I think, then split off to do other things.
Well, there's nothing else here as far as I can see.
Taking a cursory look around the pool, I was inclined to agree. But this isn't where I saw you dead, so I guess there won't be any clues anyway. We wander back inside, making a beeline for the basement. Then from there, the gym, the place where it happened.
I get the feeling this isn't going to take too long.
What makes you say that?
What do you have to go off? I got stabbed, right?
Yeah, in the shower over there.
Are you worried about what you saw? Worried that it might happen again?
Less that, and more confused.
Confused about what?
Well, everything.
That's not helping me narrow things down, you know.
Okay, so what we do know is that you were stabbed with a very specific kind of knife. You were shirtless and you were wet.
Well, I think we can rule out a couple of people.
That's an improvement from where we were before.
So I think we can rule out Sal. He was with us, and unless he's a stone-cold killer, I don't think he'd have come out with saying that he trusted everyone, only to be the one to stab me.
I think I'm fine ruling out Sal. Who else can we rule out?
If we're running down a list, I think ruling out Roswell and Orlando is safe. Safe too, given I don't think either of them would be able to actively stab me. I don't know. I'm putting Roswell on the maybe list.
Really?
I don't mean to be as. I don't mean this as bad as it's going to sound, but Orlando's too squeamish, and Roswell likely wouldn't have the force required to stab someone.
And if you were on your back already when stabbed?
In that case, it could have been anyone.
What about Dean and Tyson?
We can rule out both of them. Dean was elsewhere that day, all day, and after hanging around Tyson, he'd much rather do stuff with his hands rather than a knife. Plus, he'd have needed to have snagged it from somewhere first, and I straight up asked him if he had one,
and he said no.
Of course, plenty of other things, but not a knife like that. Apparently, smuggled a knife from the kitchen, but that's about it.
So that leaves
the biggest question, isn't it? Oswin and Benson are the only ones left.
I frowned, thinking it over. Access to knife, plus secret passages. I guess it could have been one of them.
Secret passage? What secret passage?
Oh, well, out in the basement there's a hidden passage, like in the conservatory.
Ignoring the fact that you should have said this to the rest of us, that kind of makes me really suspect Benson.
Why Benson in particular? Like, between the two, that would otherwise use the passage.
Benson used to be a trained assassin a long time ago, but he'd know how to quickly kill someone.
When would that have ever come up in casual conversation?
Does that matter? With that in mind, it brings up a bigger problem.
What's the bigger problem?
Benson could have been the one to kill me, but he could have just been following orders.
From Oswin, you mean?
That would be the first guess, but does he take orders from anyone else? Is he a gun for hire?
And asking him is out of the question, I'm guessing.
At least with no evidence. He's likely not going to tell us anything anyway. Plus, that doesn't get us anywhere closer as far as figuring out the why this is all happening.
Maybe because you were here before.
That's hardly a reason to kill someone.
What about Haas? I don't know. Is there any reason someone would want you dead?
Unless we start factoring the crazy guy in the forest, I can't think of anything. Maybe there was no reason at all.
That didn't seem right to me, but we seem to be at a loss.
I don't think I can just be a random killer. It can just be a random killer. Otherwise, it wouldn't have happened a second time, right?
Oh yeah, whoops, that was Dave talking.
You've got me there. I need a cup of tea.
I might need one as well.
Wait, really? What about it being disgusting leaf juice?
I just need something to relax, and I think the time for coffee might be past.
How about we get tea after we look into this Tyson thing you saw in the vault?
Are you even feeling up for it?
I might need a break first.
That's all right. I stood there awkwardly scratching my arm.
But he's your brother, and you want to go investigate.
Maybe. Just a look in his room. He mentioned that he hadn't been sleeping well.
Thinking of taking him for
chamomile. Okay. To help him relax? No, I don't think Ty likes leaf juice either.
If you say so. But alright, I'll go get tea going. You see what you can find out, and I can relax when you get back. And we can relax when you get back.
Okay, sure. I'll try not to be too long. We headed up the stairs and split off once we hit the foyer, Haas heading towards the kitchen, and I went upstairs towards Tyson's room. Part of me wondered what I'd do if I ran into Tyson, but with any luck, I'd be able to investigate and get out before I found out. After knocking and getting no reply, I eased the door open and stepped inside. Ty? From the lack of response, and after I assumed he wasn't in here, but looking around and seeing just how that was the case made me feel like I was doing something bad. Ty was always welcome in my room, but not having permission to do the same felt wrong, even though I was here for good reason. In and out, I'll be quick. That's all, nice and quick. I snapped my face gently to try and shake the feeling away, so I could focus on my investigation. Ty? The first thing my eyes landed on was the pile of things off to the side that seemed to be collected from around the house. Part of me hoped he was only borrowing things, but something told me he intended to take all of this home with him. Rifling through the pile to see what he's gotten, most of it seemed to be semi-expensive stuff from the gaming room, plus a couple of smaller trinket things that looked expensive. Were you just planning on selling all this stuff, or what?
You tell me.
Thanatos?
In the flesh, or the equivalent is, anyway.
What are you doing here?
I should be asking you the same thing. You looking to put that stuff back or add to the pile?
Neither. But, God, I really should talk to him about this. Stealing's bad.
Glad someone thinks so, but that's not really my business. Now, why are you here?
I was just checking Tyson's room.
He's not here, obviously.
I can see that. No idea where he is, though.
Unless he's in his room, unless he's in this room, nothing else matters to me.
Why's that?
You sure do ask a lot, don't you? If you want to be helpful, you can open that door for me so I can get out.
I'll let you out when I'm done. I just want to make sure there's nothing else here.
Well, if you're trapping me in this room like a cage, at least tell me what you're looking for.
Anything to help me save Tyson from doing what I saw in the vault. Any ideas?
You're asking the wrong rat. I don't have ideas, just commands to fill.
Excluding all the times you bust out when you're not supposed to.
I might be a machine, but I'm allowed my freedom.
I like this line, actually. That's funny. Says who? Thanatos freezes briefly, looking me over and staying perfectly still.
Doesn't matter.
Why doesn't it matter? I don't think machines could be free if you're just, computers.
Well, I'm special. You should know that by now.
Yeah, sure. Rolling my eyes, I looked down onto the floor and started looking under the bed, covering my nose in fear of the dust making me sneeze.
What are you looking for now?
Why do you keep asking me that? I already told you.
Maybe I'm just waiting for you to notice it.
I pulled my head out from under the bed and looked around. Was I meant to be noticing something? Aside from the mess that Tyson had made, it looked just like my room.
Maybe I'm giving you too much credit.
Unless you're going to help me figure this out, just be quiet, please.
Fine, I'll wait. If that's how you want us to be, want to be this time.
What do you mean this time?
Have you forgotten? I remember everything from every past interaction. Sometimes you clue in right away, sometimes you don't. Actually, that seems to be the new normal behavior, really.
Come on, Thanatos. I'm just worried about what's going to happen. I'm not some know everything machine like you are.
Works every time. All right, I'll help. If only because I have places I need to be.
I rolled my eyes, sitting back against Tyson's bed, and looked to Thanatos. So what am I looking for?
You tell me. Figure out what's set the wolf off yet.
Only thing I have to go off is his headaches, and that happens around when he wakes up.
And you started by looking under his bed?
Something like seems like a good enough thing to start with. If his bed was uncomfortable, he'd just have told me.
Fair point, but what were you expecting? Some monster under the bed?
Look at it from my perspective. I don't know what causes headaches. I don't know what's happening to Tyson, and neither does he. What else am I meant to do beyond looking up when the moon is full? Okay. So Tyson, what causes Tyson to tell you in Tyson's right, he sleeps with you the night before, and he tells you that he doesn't hear the ringing in his ears. So you end up looking for something that's ringing, and that's how you find out that it's Thanatos. Okay.
Let me ask you this, then. What would you be willing to spend keeping him alive? Or Orlando, for that matter?
Anything.
You never change, do you? Always the self-sacrificing route, but that's just something I'm going to have to work with.
What do you mean?
Say for a moment there's a chance that you can all survive this month. Say that in order to do that, for that to happen, someone's going to need to know what's going to happen.
Using the vault?
Oh, that's one option. The other option is to be the vault.
You're actually willing to help? Or are you just messing with me again?
If I wanted to mess with you, I just would. I didn't go showing you your dad's license yesterday for nothing.
You weren't commanded to do it?
Not exactly. But to fulfill my command, you needed to know your folks were here.
And you can just reason that out?
This ain't my first time doing this, remember? Interactive design at its finest, yeah?
I don't know. The fact that you just design whatever outcome you want almost makes me wonder if I have a choice, if any.
You have options, always do. I'm just responding to what you do as if you were playing some little game. Game of chess or whatever, yeah?
So whose turn is it now?
Yours. You found me in Tyson's room. Now you have to decide what happens next.
Well, how did you get in here?
Snuck in. Was just told to be in here. Wasn't needed for anything else today.
What were you needed for?
I was commanded to be in here. It's my job to try and get what you saw in the vault to happen.
But you were just saying you were willing to help.
I am. Would be easier to not tell you any of this and send you on your way.
Okay. Well, how were you going to get it to happen?
Oh, easy enough. Sure, Ozin told you about how the vault works.
Trauma. Put in word and vision happens if it lines up.
Yeah, but not that. Specifically, how it does that.
Because you decide?
God, you're dense. All right. So when a password is flagged, a sequence plays to trip something in your head, pitched high enough to cause a pain and a blackout. Sound familiar?
I think Osmond might have mentioned that.
Right. Well, the room that you put the passwords in has a speaker, like the one around my collar. So if I wanted to play anything, I just could. Yeah.
You're making Tyson see visions of the vault?
Nope. I just have to make him go nuts. Easy enough done by playing something like...
I suddenly clapped my hands over my ears, yelping.
What was that? A toned down version. I would have been playing Tyson. You couldn't hear the ringing thing because you're not a dog, but imagine hearing that while you sleep but unable to wake up.
My head's already starting to hurt. That was awful.
What can I say? It's effective.
So that's it. I just get rid of you and the problem's solved. I'll murder you on the spot.
Yes, but no. Not if you still want my help anyway.
I'm listening.
My orders were simple. Hide in Tyson's room and make him go nuts on the full moon. Nothing else. Could freely pick the parameters of how to get it done too.
And you decided playing the sound?
Well, I wasn't about to stick him out with a dose of rabies now, was I?
My eyes went to the closed door with a frown. And the room is soundproof, which is why no one else heard it.
Got it in one.
And if getting rid of you is out, then I just have to swap rooms with Tyson.
On a technicality, that's not gonna cut it. If you swap rooms, your room just becomes his, and I go out, and I go hang out over there.
But if he just borrows in my room...
I think I'd be fine with that. Can't really say I was against my orders. Can't really say I went against my orders if he just wasn't in his room, can I?
So you're just going to what? Stay in his room and hide?
Pretty much. Got somewhere else I need to be first, but yeah, I'll make my way back in later.
But where? Just under the bed? In a pile of clothes?
Under the bed works just fine. For your room.
What do you mean? You weren't.
Every time you spoke to Oswin while in your room, that was me letting him use my speaker.
Thanatos shook his head, throwing his arms up.
Happy now? I don't want to be, holed up in here all day, so open the door already.
Almost. Just one more thing.
What is it now?
Where do you need to go? Like, after here?
I need to go, have a chat with someone. Nothing more than that.
I could take you myself. Who is it?
None of your business. Not about to answer that, even if you ask nice.
Please?
Points for trying, but no.
After some prodding, I give up when it was clear Thanatos wasn't going to tell me anything else. When I opened the door to leave, he basically leapt over my foot to stop me. What? He basically leapt over my foot to stop me closing him inside. I caught a glimpse of him heading downstairs, but he was completely out of sight by the time I looked over the railing to the floor below. Shaking my head, I wandered downstairs to the dining room, following my nose to the scent of freshly brewed tea, and undoubtedly where Haas was waiting. I take a seat. It wasn't long until Haas joined me. He emerged from the kitchen with a tray balancing a teapot and a couple of cups, setting it on the table and sitting beside me.
Now, isn't this better?
What's better, the tea?
Well, it beats dangling my feet in the pool. Plus, the smell of tea always does help me relax.
Why were you by the pool anyway?
I just wanted to get out of the house. Plus, there's the sound of water being somewhat relaxing, too.
He pours the tea and places a cup delicately in front of me, but places a hand over it when I went to grab it.
Much like tea being relaxing, you're not going to be up for the rest of the day from caffeine coffee is going to give you.
You really don't like coffee, do you? He removes his hand, and I took the cup, breathing it through my nose. It smells kind of like honey, but also something herbal and pleasant. Coffee is fine, but I just don't think what I offer is as good for you than what tea can offer. I still think I prefer coffee.
What about Tyson?
Still think he'd rather coffee or tea. I think coffee for similar reasons to me.
Then I hate to break it to you,
but he seemed interested in trying boba once we get home. But that's not tea. That's just milk and balls. Then he can. Then you get to be the one to call him out on it. If he hates it, fine, but he at least seems willing to try it. Grumbling, I sipped my drink and looked around the room, enjoying Haas's company. But I caught him looking at me, and I straightened, wondering what was wrong. Haas?
I'm sorry to bring this up, but how do you feel about Dean?
Haas,
Dave, listen. If we're being open and honest about things, I want to know what's happening between you two, and are you into him or aren't you?
Well, sure, I like Dean. He's nice.
But are you dating?
I don't know.
Does he think you're dating?
Maybe.
Dave, that's really not good.
I guess it was just easier. Having someone interested in me in the middle of being upset and lost about Dad was just nice to hold on to.
So you're just going to string him along this whole time?
No, I do really like Dean.
But, come on, Dave. You can't really think that's fair to anyone if you're not actively interested in pursuing him.
I know. Haas just shook his head and sighed, looking down at my tea. I really like Dean, but it's not enough to just like Dean, is it?
Only you can really answer that, but if he thinks you two are more serious than what you do, that's just going to end up really messy unless you two have a serious talk about where you stand and what you both want.
But what if I don't want what I don't know what if I don't know what I want?
Then you say that. It's not hard, Dave. But if you find yourself in a position where Dean thinks you two are an item when you aren't, well, you're just going to have to break his heart.
So, what do I do?
Dave, it's not that complicated. You just have to talk to him, that's all.
That's it?
That's it. Like I said, it's not complicated, but it might be awkward. Who knows? Who knows how he's going to react or how he might feel, but he deserves better.
Okay.
Above all else, I don't want you to be caught out later than this because more of a mess than it is. There's every chance that you two actually are into each other and everything will be fine.
And if they're not?
Well, that's just something we can deal with together. Not just me, but the others too, especially while we're on this mountain.
He breathes in deeply through his nose, as if about to say something, but hesitates. What?
Just, if you two aren't dating, then there might be other options.
Other options? Like what?
Like other people that might want to ask you out once we get off this mountain. But you're not allowed to consider any of this until after you talk to Dean.
Okay. I drain the rest of my tea. I drain the rest of my tea and set the cup aside, looking at Haas. Sorry, and thanks.
It's what friends are for, Dave. We're not your personal therapists, but we are here to help one. We are around to help if you call on us.
Speaking of...
Oh?
I looked at Tyson's room. He wasn't there.
Oh, well, did you learn anything?
I did, yeah. So, turns out... I trailed off, wondering how much I could get away with as far as telling Haas, knowing that he'd know if I was lying. So I went into his room.
Right.
And there was something in his room emitting a sound.
You can just tell us stuff. You can just tell me stuff you know. You can either lie or don't, but I'm gonna find out either way.
So I went into Tyson's room, and there was a bunch of stuff in there. Stuff he'd stolen from around the house.
I'm talking about him. I'll talk to him about it.
Either you will or I can, but when I was in there, I found something that was hidden under his bed. Something that was that had been making this high-pitched kind of sound.
How high-pitched?
I don't know how to measure that, but it hurt my ears. Bad enough that I can only imagine how bad it is for Ty, being...
Right, yeah.
Okay, so you think that might have been what set this whole thing off? If that's true, I don't know how else it could be.
Given what I remember from yesterday,
that'd explain why he was complaining about being loud. So my plan is just have him sleep in my room. It's quieter by comparison.
Did you remove the thing making the sound? That should be enough, right?
And if I said it wouldn't be.
How wouldn't that be enough? If it's still in the room, I'll go remove it myself.
No, it's gone. I just don't know. I just don't want to take the risk.
So bunk up with Tyson.
Maybe. I don't know. I hope it's enough. Yes, let's sleep with Tyson. You could just...
You could spend the night with me if you wanted. Although I still don't know if you're doing everything you can to,
I want to tell everyone, but only after it's done. If someone's behind it, I'd rather not make it known to everyone until after they've been foiled, right?
Well, after it's been foiled.
So the person behind it doesn't know I know.
And you're going to have it covered. What if we need help? Trying to find the guns stop Benson from dying, after all.
I have a good counter to what he's suggesting, but he shook his head.
But there is some benefit in limiting who knows what, just in case,
I'm just worried about whoever is behind this may have factored in you finding out the plan for Tyson anyway and foolproofed it somehow. Please no, you're going to make me worry.
Sorry.
And just not sure what our next move should be exactly. I thought back to what Thanatos had told me and nodded slowly, the feeling in my gut telling me that, for better or worse, I had to trust him. I think we're fine for now. If something changes, I'll let you know, but moving Ty out of his room for the night is a good start. Maybe tomorrow night, too, but then...
But then you're telling everyone what happened.
Yeah.
I trust you, Dave. If you're sure this is the best way forward, then I'm on board.
He drained his tea and set his cup aside, returning his gaze to me, though.
But if this goes bad, I hope you're ready to deal with the weight of your decision.
I don't mean to stress you out, but with all this going on, you're the only one in a position to decide who lives and dies based on your actions. And after everything, I'd hate to see you shut down again. I nodded quickly, and he rose from his chair to stand behind me, hugging me quickly. No, we're not doing this again. Now, want to go relax until dinner? I think I'm ready for something a lot less serious than looking into murder, at least for a bit. After refilling our tea, we wandered into a side room and just lounged around. At some point, Haas left and returned with a brush, and I got some grooming in before it was time to go to dinner. Dinner was, funnily enough, ordinary. People sat down, ate, chatted, and it was as if it was just another communal meal during a get-together. With the exception of Oswin and Benson, everyone else was here, but having seen neither hide or hair of Oswin since this morning made me worry. Okay, I think, I frowned, thinking that if Roswell were to come, I'd miss my chance to properly talk to Oswin, and by extension Thanatos, while were he to be around. And that, if you remember everything that we've done, then what's the point in doing anything at all? I remember liking this scene. It's Tyson. Ty looked up from his dish, grumbling.
I'm here. What do you want?
Oh,
Seriously, Dave. You don't need it. If you don't need anything, get lost.
Rubbing my head, I wandered over to Tyson and picked up a towel to start drying the dishes he'd already set to the side.
I don't need help.
Did you want help?
Do whatever you want.
We worked together for a little bit before I broke the silence, looking to Tyson with a frown. Sleep in my bed tonight.
Pass. I'd rather get the sleep in.
Right. I'm not gonna be using it tonight, so you can have the whole thing.
Dave, I don't want to hear about you getting laid.
You've been having trouble sleeping, or whatever, and my bed is comfy. Just trust me on this. Take my bed for tonight and see how you feel in the morning.
You're not going to get into my room, are you?
Why? Is there something in there you don't want me to see?
No.
Are you sure?
You went in my fucking room already, didn't you?
I was looking for you, he grumbled, wiping his hands after draining the sink and turning to me.
I don't need you judging me for the stuff in there. I'm just thinking ahead.
That stuff doesn't belong to you, Ty.
I'm thinking ahead to get to us getting home and not having to be broke. Fuck. If we have to bail quickly for whatever reason, we can leave it all behind, but any extra money we can get, I'm making sure of.
What about the money that was offered for just doing the metal hunt?
You think we'll find the whole set? Listen, if it fucking bothers you that much, I'll not take anything else.
And you'll put the rest back? Through gritted teeth, Tyson grumbles and groans.
Fine.
Ty, come on. You should just...
I should just what? Just leave me alone, Dave.
I grabbed his hand and he flinched, ears twitching briefly.
I'm being a dick again, aren't I?
You're just tired, which is why you should borrow my bed tonight. I'll think of something else. Well, we could bunk up together, but I think you'd like having the bed to yourself to spread out and rest. He spun around quickly to look at me, mouth open to say something before quickly closing it, shaking his head.
Okay, fine. You're right.
Hopefully you feel alright after a good night's sleep, Ty.
I'll go swing by my room and grab some stuff and head over to yours, I guess. Sure, it's fine.
Yeah, I'm sure. I wonder where Thanatos is, where Thanatos was right now. If he's already made his way into Tyson's room, or if it was going to happen later.
Well, I'll see you then, I guess.
I'll see you later, I guess. He waved over his shoulder as he left the kitchen, and then out of sight. I finished drying what dishes were left and then followed suit. After swinging by my room to grab some things, I wandered over to Haas's and made my way inside. Hey, hope I'm not,
I really don't.
A bother? It's fine I share your bed tonight, right?
Of course. Otherwise it makes your plan for Tyson a bit strange, right?
I guess so.
Dave, it's fine. Go shower. I'll grab one after you. Just don't go using all the hot water, and we're fine.
Right, sorry. I guess I'm still just really reeling after today is all.
Good thing it's over then.
He wanders close, ruffling the fur atop my head.
So go shower, unless you want me to have the first one.
Okay, I'm going. Haas wanders over to the bed, and I caught a glimpse of him looking at the photo from his wallet, and I closed the door to the bathroom. I kept things quick, washing as thoroughly as I could, and tagging out with Haas when done.
I'm going to switch off the lights.
He disappears into the bathroom and emerges looking kind of floofy, but wanders over to the bed, only in his underwear once clean. With the room in darkness, I could smell him applying that nice-smelling stuff in his fur before settling down and wiping his hands on me, passing some of the coconut lime smell onto my fur as well.
Sleep tight, Dave.
The reply was halfway out of my mouth before I yawned, and shortly after, I was rapidly falling asleep. In the last moment I had consciousness, I remembered Haas coming in close and cuddling me tight, the warmth and pleasant smell lulling me to sleep. To be continued. Okay. Cool. Title. Yeah. Okay, so that's all there is to Haas's route. I forgot to do the update for Dean, so I'll probably do Dean's day 18 before moving on to another route. I guess put in the comments what route you want me to do after Haas, I guess. So I'll see you around.